Ms. Legalista here. Welcome to the video. Going to be talking about Adobe products, Adobe Acrobat, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro. If any of you have used any of those, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I'm going to be bringing you the latest on this FTC action. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, is going after Adobe for what they say. Let's see. Adobe and executives for hiding fees, preventing consumers from easily canceling software subscriptions. All right. Let's see what it actually says over here. It says the FTC takes action against Adobe and executives. Complaint charges that the maker of Photoshop and Acrobat deceived consumers about early termination fees and inhibited cancellations. Now, I always thought, remember when you could buy the whole package for, I don't know, $800. Then it came down to about $600. And it was always like, wow. And now they've come up with the whole subscription model. So we'll get you in, and every year we'll charge you an annual subscription. We'll increase it a little bit. And I just got a notice that mine was going up. I actually won a subscription years back. And then when it ended, that whole annual free subscription that I had won, I canceled it because I wasn't really using it. But now I use Adobe Premiere Pro all the time, all the time. But I just got a notice that the subscription price was going up. I'm telling you, I got like 3 notices at one time that subscription prices were going up. I was just like, are y'all all doing this together? I mean, what is it? It's like the middle of the year. What is going on here? The Federal Trade Commission is taking action. Okay, we saw that part. A complaint has been filed by the Justice Department. It says upon notification and referral from the FTC charges that Adobe pushed consumers toward the annual paid monthly subscription without adequately disclosing that canceling the plan in the first year could cost hundreds of dollars. Okay, so now I'm feeling like I need to go back. I'm feeling like, hey, I need to get off the video and that I need to go back and take a look at what I signed up for. I mean, we don't do that, right? We think we're signing up for this, especially when it says we're paying monthly. We're paying monthly. And so we think that we can just end it monthly. And now I'm wondering what I actually am signed up for. Okay, so this is going to give us a little bit of information here. This is sort of like a summary. Then I'll do a whole nother video where we actually look at the complaint. But it says pushed consumers toward the annual paid monthly subscription without disclosing these cancellation fees. What this is being called is, these dark patterns or deceptive patterns where they hide information or make it difficult to find or make you have to jump through a bunch of hoops to even cancel. And now we see that they may be charging us fees to cancel. So it's sort of like, wait, I signed up for the program and now you're going to charge me to leave the program on top of the charges that I was already paying you. Like, if I stay, I pay, and if I leave, I pay. This is not a win for consumers. And I think the Department of Justice and the FTC both agree with this. It says Adobe trapped. Look at the words that are used here as they're defining this. Adobe trapped customers into year-long subscriptions through hidden early termination fees and numerous cancellation hurdles. I'm telling you, at this point in time, we can no longer just stick our heads in the sand and say we're going to sign up for this subscription plan without reading the terms and conditions. We're now going to have to actually read this because we haven't been reading it. Nobody wants to read it unless they're looking to take a nap. And then otherwise, we're just like, no, I want the product. I'll click that I read it, hit purchase. Okay, now let me get started. That's usually the way our minds work. It says Americans are tired of companies hiding the ball. It's like an Easter egg hunt, right? Let me find the egg. Americans are tired of companies hiding the ball during subscription sign up and then putting up roadblocks when they try to cancel. Roadblocks is what it says. How many times have you felt like this? Now, I did a video a while back And, I was gonna say a lot of people have been looking at it, but, for me, it's a lot of people, okay? So people have really been looking at it, and it's the one that talks about Amazon and the whole Roach Motel technique. That's what it's called. It's based on this tagline from one of the bug companies, bug extermination companies where roaches check in, but they don't check out. Do you remember that? I mean, I haven't heard it in a while, but it used to be something that played on the TV all the time. It would be roaches check in, but they don't check out. That's the same tactic that's being used to describe these subscription models where people sign up, but they can't get back out. That's why they're calling this and saying Americans are tired of companies hiding the ball during subscription sign up and then putting up roadblocks when they try to cancel. Putting up roadblocks. That's the Roach Motel. They have cemented that thing, put some foundation now. That Roach Motel is now there, and you cannot check out. You cannot get out of that subscription. You're clicking on everything, trying to find where to go. After 2012, Adobe shifted principally to a subscription model, requiring consumers to pay for access to the company's popular software on a recurring basis. That would be me. Subscriptions account for most of the company's revenue. Look, everybody's doing that now, right? Like, this is the new thing. We get them in, we fish them in, get them on that hook, reel them in, and then every year it's just, this payment, and then every once in a while you can up it. It says, according to the complaint, I'll bring it back up so that you can see it. According to the complaint, when consumers purchase a subscription through the company's website, Adobe pushes consumers to its annual paid monthly subscription plan, pre-selecting it as a default. I will tell you that I myself have gotten confused. You tell me if this has happened to you too. I have gotten confused. You know what I'm talking about. You find some software as a service that you want to have, right? And you go to the website and they have that price up there and it says $12 a month, or maybe it says $10 a month, $10 a month. For $10 a month, yes, you can get this. And then you realize that the slider up there is on annual, which means you have to go ahead and pay for all 12 months for that $10 right now, today, the full amount. Okay. Not just the 10. You have to actually change that slider from annual to monthly to find out it's not $10 a month that I'm actually going to pay monthly. That was the annual amount. The monthly amount is actually 18. And every time I get so frustrated because I wish they would stop doing this, but it is their way of getting people in. And yes, they get them in at a lower price, but who, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, let's get back to what the federal government is making their case about, as opposed to me making my case about the whole I'm tired of the slider thing and them trying to pull you in with a low amount, knowing that what you really want to know is what is the monthly amount that I can pay, because I'm actually doing a monthly budget and I want to set things up on a monthly schedule. And I might not want it for a whole year. Maybe I only need it for 6 months. People have different reasons why when they look at monthly, they really want monthly. It says here, all right, Adobe pushes consumers to its annual paid monthly subscription plan, pre-selecting it as a default. Adobe prominently shows the plan's monthly cost during enrollment, but it buries the early termination fee. I didn't know it had one. And its amount, which is 50% of the remaining monthly payments when a consumer cancels in the first year. Can you believe that? Adobe's early termination fee disclosures are buried on the company's website in small print or require consumers to hover over small icons to find the disclosures. So now you got to have a magnifying glass or reading glasses to be able to find this stuff. Consumers complain to the FTC and the Better Business Bureau about the early termination fees, according to the complaint. These consumers report that they were not aware of the existence of the early termination fee, or that the annual paid monthly plan required their their subscription to continue for a year. See, that is going to change. Companies are going to have to decide, they're going to have to make a decision. Am I just going to wait for the Department of Justice to come after me, or do I want to go ahead and make those changes right now? Do I want to take a look at this and say, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get on the good side of grace. Let me change that right now. Probably not. I think a lot of them are going to be late to make those changes, and it's going to come back to bite some of them, especially the larger ones. It says consumers complain, okay, about the complaint, da 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 da. The complaint notes that Adobe has been aware of consumers' confusion about the ETF. Again, this goes back to what was happening with Amazon. Like Amazon totally knew. They were having conversations in meetings about how confused people were about trying to get out of the Amazon Prime subscription plan. They wanted it out, and they go to the website and couldn't find it. It was like being in a maze, having all these trap doors, roadblocks and challenges, and having a difficult time of getting out. And of course, by the time things are going through the wheels of justice, they decide they're going to change the website. So, they could have done that a long time ago, right? It says, despite being aware of consumers' problems with the early termination fee, the company continues its practice of steering consumers to the annual paid monthly plan while hiding the early termination fee according to the complaint. And so again, look at the language that's being used here. This practice of steering consumers over here. And one of the things they look at is how prominent. Remember, that's what I'm talking about when I go to the website. How prominent is, oh, it's only $10 a month. And then you see the little slider up there. You have to look up to go, oh, that's if I pay annually, if I pay the whole thing at one time. I have to slide it over. And this is what they're talking about, this sort of steering and not being clear and upfront with people. And then not saying, hey, there's an early termination fee if you want to leave. Y'all, the dark and deceptive patterns. This is what we're talking about. In addition to failing to disclose the early termination fee to consumers when they subscribe, upfront, informed consent, the complaint also alleges that Adobe uses the early termination fee to ambush consumers to deter them from canceling their subscriptions. Now, let me go back and finish telling you what happened with that subscription that I had, because I had won that subscription, and my arrow's way over there somewhere. I had won the subscription that I had at an event, gone to an event with my daughter. I won the subscription. It was great. I had it for a year. And remember, I said after that, I wasn't using it that much. So I went ahead and canceled it. Well, when I got ready to cancel, they were like, oh, well, we'll give you like a discount. We'll give you a discount. And then I almost want to say, if I remember correctly, they did this also. I can't be positively sure about this because there have been some other software subscription plans that I've canceled, but they were like, you can pause it, right? And then just come back. And the thing about what you have to be concerned about when you're looking at some of this is, okay, if I pause a subscription plan, do I have to come back to cancel? Or do what I'm asking is, do you automatically unpause it and start it back up for me without me realizing it? Because that's the thing you want to know. It's like, okay, I'll pause it for 3 months and then reassess. Well, if it is set up in such a way that after that 3 months is up, it automatically goes back into being an active subscription that you are now paying for, you want to know that. You want to know whether or not you have to go back onto the website and cancel it. You want to know that before you say, oh, okay, let me hit the pause button. Let's do that. And if like this Federal Trade Commission complaint says, is any information about that, about what I just talked about, how you ultimately cancel after the pause, is it hidden somewhere in there where you're not going to see it, where you're going to have to go on an Easter egg hunt to find it? What's the deal here? So you want to have this information up front. And that's pretty much what they are saying is missing. So that's the other piece there. When consumers reach out to Adobe's customer service to cancel, now let's see how this goes, because sometimes this is a whole nother part of the dark patterns. They encounter resistance and delay from Adobe representatives. I have, worked with some companies, and yeah, their whole thing is to delay cancellations, to try to talk them out of cancellations, to do pauses and things of that nature, and to maybe have conversations with them to see, okay, well, maybe there's another way that you can still use this. And sometimes it really truly is about helping the consumer. So let's be clear, sometimes that is the case. Other times it's not. They're just trying to still get money. They have a whole standard operating procedure of how they still want to get your money. It says consumers also experience other obstacles. Like, how many obstacles they're going to put us through? Such as dropped calls and chats and multiple transfers. Well, I don't think that's necessarily anything that is only happening at Adobe. Let's just put it that way. Some consumers who thought they had successfully canceled their subscription, I have heard this before, reported that the company continued to charge them until discovering the charges on their credit card statements. Right, right. So you were told that it was done. You had canceled. And I tell people this now. I really do. I'm just like, if I cancel something or I do something, I want the email confirmation. If I don't get the email confirmation, if it's in a chat, I just reach up and take a screenshot with my phone. You know, at this point in time, you actually have to be a little bit more proactive because they're not really interested in you canceling. They don't want you to cancel. And if you are going to dispute this later, it's helpful if you have proof of the fact that you talked to them on X day and told them that you wanted to cancel this service. It says the complaint charges that Adobe's practices violate the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act. The commission, the FTC, vote to refer the civil penalty complaint to the DOJ was filing was 3-0. So the three commission members who voted to say, hey, should this go to the DOJ or not? All three of them said, yeah, send it on over. And probably because of some of the things you just saw in this. It says, and I just want to give you this last part, and I'll get back on the full screen. The day is going, and I tell you, I'm a little tired. The commission refers a complaint for civil penalties when it has reason to believe that the defendants are violating or are about to violate the law and that a proceeding is in the public interest. The case will be decided by the court. Well, now you know where things stand with Adobe. You know what to think about before you buy. So if this helps inform you, not just about Adobe, but this is something to think about whenever you're purchasing any of these subscription products. And you can also share this with friends and family in case they are purchasing these products. So if this helps increase your information about this, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.